Bonjour, Anin. Minugajib. Welcome everybody to the Tribal Council meeting. Our apologies for not having one for the past couple of weeks. We've had some COVID and everything else happening, but with regards to invocation this morning, we'll be having a moment of silence, but I just want to say to everybody that our spiritual advisor, Gene Goodsky, needs our prayers as he is struggling with medical condition at Duluth, and we want to make sure that we get that asema out and we have our prayers for him as he always prays for us. And he needs our prayers now, and along with the other individuals that are suffering with medical conditions, COVID, what have you. So at this moment, we'll have a moment of silence. Chimigwich. Okay, with that, we'll start with our meeting. I'll call the meeting to order at 9:08. Roll call, please.
Okay. Kathy Chavers.
Here.
David Morrison Sr.
Here.
Shane Drift.
Come on. Here.
Travis Morrison.
Here.
And Peter Boney.
Here.
Okay, thank you. This morning we have Joel Astelford sitting in as executive director. Our executive director is out for today. And so we also have Francis Irving running our meetings, not running them, but helping us with our meeting minutes and stuff, and learning Whittle for Vicki Holmes' job, Vicki Vilburn's job. So we're very pleased to have you both with us. Next, we have approval of the agenda. And I believe we have some additions. Let's see. Do you want to say them, Joel, or you want me to do it?
Sure. No, after Jalen Strong, on the second page, I'm sorry. So there is a change on the consent agenda also, investment service agreement. We have to approve that. Okay. And then down underneath Jalen Strong, we will have Doris for a resolution for an EDA grant, Doris Isham. Okay. Pam Hughes do agreement for long-term homeless. Okay. And Jeff is going to do a resolution for vaccine booster. Okay. And then it looks like we're removing under Deanna Drift resolution new lease. You're right. Okay. Got it. Any other additions or corrections, or if not, I'll call for a motion to approve the agenda with those additions.
Move.
And deletion. Motion made by Pete. Is there a second?
Hold on. I got a question. There's something written above Tony Wakeham's name. Number 8.
Oh, that's above Tony's name is the investment service agreement under the consent agenda.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Thank you, Shane. Seconded by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, excuse me, motion carried. Next, we have the meeting minutes from Tribal Council meeting held December 15th, 2021 in Net Lake.
I just like to say something real quick. All I'm getting at, I'm trying to do it on my phone here. As you can see. So it's really hard to read because it's so small. Just letting you know.
Okay, thanks, Pete. Get those trifocals out. I'm kidding. Any questions on the meeting minutes?
I'm just reading through it now.
Okay.
I have a question on the first page.
Okay.
Under the word says moved by Peter Bone, seconded by Travis Morrison to approve the consent agenda as follows. Number 4, approve the energy Assistance Program of the CARES Act extension date to December 17th or until funds have been spent. I do believe the funds have been spent out then.
Yeah. Yep, that's correct, Shane. Well, actually not totally spent out, but obligated out. The CARES fund did come through, of course, late and say that they didn't have to be totally spent out, but obligated by the 31st of December. So we are close to having them spent out, but they have been all obligated out. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, if no other questions on the minutes, I will call for a motion to approve the December 15, 2021 meeting minutes.
Move.
Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Travis. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, silent, motion carried. Okay, Joel.
Okay, first we have introduction of new staff. Chris Holm will be introducing his staff and also staff for Lance Hill.
Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
So we have I'd like to introduce three new staff persons to you in DNR. As Joel mentioned, Lance is unavailable today, so I'll provide introductions for his people as well. First person I'd like to introduce to you is, can you see me? Or,
No,
oh,
we
okay.
can't see you.
Oh, I see.
See a big C.
Okay, well.
That's
yeah,
okay.
I don't see a way to do audio here. Anyway, I do have Bill standing here right behind me. Your first introduction is Bill Isham. Bill is back with us after 13 years previously as a water resources technician. He's back in the same capacity, and we're glad to have him back. So,
well, welcome back, Bill.
yep,
Glad to have you.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Congratulations. We know you do a great job.
Thank you. The next person I'll reintroduce to you is Kent Isham. Kent is also here standing behind me to say hello. Kent left the environmental program but stayed in DNR and went to the forestry program as a forestry technician. He's enjoying his work out there. He's getting to have some more outside time and do a variety of different kinds of tasks. And he's here to say hello to you too. Say hello. Hello, guys.
Hi, Ken. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on board.
Welcome aboard, Kenty.
Yep. We know you do a
Welcome
great
aboard,
job,
Ken.
Kent.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And our next employee that I'll introduce to you is Cody Swanson. Cody's also at forestry. Cody started out as a forestry technician in that department. His new position is forestry coordinator. That position involves doing a lot of the things he did previously, as far as, managing timber stands, cruising for timber sales and that kind of thing. But he's also moved into some additional capacities, such as working with BIA foresters for stand development and inventory purposes. So I see Cody on my screen here.
Yep, we can see him.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Cody. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Great
Yep.
job.
Welcome.
Welcome aboard.
We know you'll do great
Congratulations.
there.
All right.
Keep up the good work, everybody.
Thank
Big
you.
witch.
That's what we have for introductions for you right now.
Make
Thanks.
witch, Chris.
Thanks, Doc. Next we have Aaron Morrison.
I don't see her on.
Yeah, I don't see her or Bridget on here.
Okay,
Okay.
we can
She
go
was
with
gonna
whoever's on.
Yeah, she was gonna introduce Bridget Vilburn as accounting specialist, accounts receivable, so.
Okay,
Then we have Vonda. Go ahead, Vonda Carr.
Good morning. I'd like
Morning.
to introduce Rhiannon Strong. She is the Early Childhood Program's Education and Disabilities Manager. Rhiannon has been with our program as a 3-year-old Head Start teacher in Vermilion for many years, and we are really excited to have Annie as part of our management team.
Congratulations, Rhiannon.
Congratulations.
Wonderful. Great that you're moving up there and enjoying the kids, and you've been with us for a long time. It's really appreciated.
I'm
Yes,
excited.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Yep. Keep up the good work, guys.
Okay, next we have Dave L. Jones.
Hi,
Good morning, Dave L.
I have Cassandra Villaburn, or I'm introducing Cassandra Villaburn as the HR admin assistant. I'm not sure if she is on. I don't know if but I told her to log on to the link. But anyway, she started out with us in summer youth, and then worked in the COVID as a COVID relief worker. I think she's an excellent asset to us. She's a fast learner. She, oh, here she is.
Hi, Cassandra. Welcome aboard.
Aboard,
Congratulations.
Welcome.
Welcome aboard, Cassandra.
This is awesome to have someone that started here in summer youth to actually come here and then work their way up and come and be employed with us. We're so happy to have you, Cassandra.
Yep, welcome aboard.
Great. Keep up the great work in HR, you guys.
All right, thanks.
Mhm.
Okay, next we have Jesse Isham.
Hi, Jesse.
A correction, Jesse
Lambert.
Lambert, sorry about that. But I have Emmanuel with me. He started on Monday, recently moved up to the area up here and is a YDP at the Vermilion Boys and Girls Club.
Wonderful. Welcome, Emmanuel. Congratulations.
Aboard.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you on board.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Great.
Well, welcome,
Great.
welcome, Emmanuel.
Thank
Welcome
you.
aboard.
Yes. Keep up the great work at the Boys and Girls Clubs.
Thank you.
Yep. Have a good day.
And next we have Lynette.
Well, good morning. I'm here to
Morning.
introduce Brooke. We did an internal transfer with Brooke, and she is now going to be the HHS lab and X-ray supervisor.
Okay. She was on earlier. Now she's popped off.
I see her.
He's there.
No, she's still there.
Oh, there she is. Hi, Brooke. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Glad to have you still on board and as a supervisor. That's really great. No, you do a great job.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
She's the one that pokes all the kids to get blood out of them. So it's
Oh,
Welcome
she does a
aboard.
great job.
Yeah, welcome aboard.
She
Thank
does
you
a
all.
great job. Congratulations, Brooke.
thanks, Kathy.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
That's it for new staff. Now we can move on to the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you, Joel. Okay, under the consent agenda, we have quite a few items, and so I will read them. First item is a reduced rate for our tribal elders to purchase a 24-hour fitness center access card, which means that they can have a reduced, it's usually $30 a month. I believe it's $15 a month now for, so they can go into the fitness centers with that card. B is resolution 45-2022 to purchase a copier out of our CARES funding. C is a coronavirus emergency response grant extension from 12/31/21 to 12/31/22. Next is emergency food relief program application and guidelines for our Minneapolis and Duluth urban offices, which is, I believe, running now. Resolution 49-2022, purchase Furno cot for ambulance with CARES fund. Next item is registrar registration fees, effective 1/1/2022. Next one is 2 contracts to upgrade Epic to add housing stabilization services. Next one is resolution 48-2022, approve the 2022 PIT count. I is modification of lease for Pam Hughes. Next one is resolution 47, 2022 lease termination, Charles Averill Jr. Next one is resolution 46, 2022 lease termination, Don Norton DeVoe. Next one is contract for service between Minnesota Engagement on Shelter and Housing and Boys Fort. Next is a letter of support for the Food Sovereignty Gather Grant. Next is a request to use the Boys Fort logo for a report to the USDA. Next is a New Moon water damage bid agreement with David Farmer. Next is Sole Source Custom Theater for $14,194 to update the Net Lake PD control system. Next one is Sole Source Quality Flow for $9,720 to repair the Vermilion lift stations. Next one is a Carbon Project MOU. Next one is CDC and MDH recommendations for isolation as of 1/18/2022. Next one is a modification to the John Hopkins contract. Next one is resolution 55-2022, appoint MCT Tribal Election Court of Appeals judge for 2022 regular election. Next one is resolution 56-2022, appoint Bands election contest judge and alternate for 2022 regular election. The judges had to be appointed immediately for the election calendar. So that's why they're on there. And then the last one we have is the investment service agreement under the consent agenda. There's quite a bit there.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we could just explain a little bit about the Carbon Project MOU.
Oh, the
Mhm.
Carbon Project MOU? Yes, I will, Shane. Currently, the tribe is in the process of purchasing the Potlatch Deltic lands from the Conservation Fund. We'll have more information on that as we know, but we are looking at hopefully a May date. And then also part of that is the tribes are eligible for what's called carbon credits. And in order to have, there's a National Indian Carbon Credit Program. And in order to be eligible for a carbon credit, where some industries can buy what they need for satisfying environmental rules or whatever and purchasing carbon credits. And tribes are now getting involved with the carbon credit issue and the reimbursement, or not the reimbursement, but the money they'll receive for selling their carbon credits. We need an MOU with the National Indian Carbon Credit Program for them to initiate what Boys Fort's carbon credits could be. There's a certain amount of carbon credits on within the reservation, and what it is like the trees and the natural resources. And so basically what they'll do is with this MOU, they'll come in at no cost to the tribe and assess our carbon credits that we have here at Boys Fort. Currently, Fond du Lac is, I believe, the only Minnesota tribe enrolled in the carbon credit program. What it basically spells out that is if we do sell some of our carbon credits, we will receive reimbursement for that, but there will also be fees taken out for the small fees, I'll put, for the other people involved, like the NICC, and then the accounting costs associated with that. So they're very minimal, but it's another area where we can receive some reimbursement, not reimbursement, I keep saying reimbursement, where we can receive some dollars for selling our carbon credits. And basically we won't, we can still manage the forests. We still have all our capabilities, but we just do not, we just follow what the recommendations will be from the survey that they do. And then it's going to take about a couple of years, they said, for this project to get going, but we're looking at it as an additional revenue source for the tribe, where it could be put into either purchasing land back or in a reserve or wherever that may want to be. So we're looking at really a lot of different avenues with regards to our natural resources, where we really don't do anything with them, and we'll get some investment dollars with that or money for that. So it's really a good program, I feel, but I have started the process now with the MOU, and they will come up and do an assessment, like I said, at no cost to the band. So this will be at no cost to the band either way. Was that good enough, Shane, or did I confuse everybody?
No, I think that was good enough. Especially when we come on more with the more information for this, and how this is exciting for the band, for the tribe, and the lands that we're going to be buying back, and then putting the land into this carbon credit program. And when we repay the loan, it's not going to be no expense to the band, and that is very exciting for us. So I just want to bring that up.
And when Shane talks about the loan and the buying back of the land, what it is through the Indian Land Tenure Fund, we have an opportunity to purchase over 28,000 acres of land from the Conservation Fund, who bought it from Potlatch-Deltic. And basically that program is enrolled in the Sustainable Forest Initiative Act through the state. And it's in a 50-year agreement or contract with the state. And it began in 2016. And that's where the state pays you for not developing the land. And so the state pays right now the Conservation Fund, and they used to pay Potlatch-Deltic almost $500,000 a year just for not utilizing that land. You can still manage the forest, but just not doing any economic development on it. So when Shane mentions the loan, we will be getting dollars from the Indian Land Tenure Fund. And what that means is that the money from the state that we receive for that Sustainable Forest Initiative Act dollar, which I believe it's right now about $20 and some odd cents per acre, that money will offset the loan, and therefore we'll be actually getting our land back at no cost to the tribe. So that's what that, just a little brief explanation of what Shane was saying there. So it's really good. We're really moving forward with some additional ways to, number one, get our land especially at no cost to us, and then look at carbon credits on top of that. So it's just awesome.
And that is a 28,000, maybe around that number, acres, right?
Yep, and that's all sectors of the reservation. That's even Deer Creek. So, okay. Any other questions on the consent agenda?
Kath, maybe you should explain too about who the election judges are, so people will know.
Okay, hang on. Dave, do you want, oh, heck, I don't have that information in front of me. I know we have Tad Johnson,
Chris Anderson.
Chris Anderson, and Susan, what's her last name?
Sarah Van Norman.
Sarah Van Norman. Yes, thank you. Those are our election judges that we have selected. Thank you, Dave. God, I can never remember Sarah's name. Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments on the consent agenda? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Pete. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, silent, motion carried. Okay.
Sorry if there's noise in the background. Someone's cooking in the kitchen, and
Oh, okay.
house is kind of small.
Okay.
Next, we have Tony Wakeham up for the powwow raffle.
There she is. Hi, Tony. You're muted.
And
There you go.
now I'm on.
Yep.
Good morning. The powwow has been postponed to March 19th.
Okay.
And so I'm only presenting this because I'm only helping out the powwow for now. So they want to sell raffle tickets
Okay.
for the powwow at $5 a piece or 5 for 20. And what they're raffling is a sewing machine, a drill, ribbon, skirts, and shirts.
Oh, nice. Very nice. And women can use drills now, right, Tony?
If you know how, Kathy.
I
Don't
know, I
advise it
know.
if you're not safe. I'm not easy, girl.
Okay. Okay,
Hey, Tony.
Any questions for Tony?
Hey, Tony, will there be a cap on the number of the lottery or tickets sold?
So
1,000.
they're saying 1,000 tickets is what they want
Okay.
to sell. I think that's the goal.
Okay.
Okay, all right. If no other questions for Tony, again, people, the powwow has been postponed until March 19th. So that'll be our midwinter powwow. And do we have a motion to approve the request for powwow raffle tickets for the powwow coming up in March?
Move.
Oh, motion made by Shane, seconded by Pete.
Yep.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, silent, motion carried. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Okay.
Thanks, Tony.
Have a good day.
Next up, we have Amber Zapata for a resolution discussion on farmer's market resolution.
Good morning, Amber.
Good morning.
Morning.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. So today I just wanted to discuss the resolution Jeff and I put together for the Odeya Giza's Farmers Market. And so this will just be a summary of the main points in the resolution. So number one, establishes the market as a tribal government-owned market. Authorizes Amber to take action to obtain SNAP-Ed authorization and to obtain an EBT device for the market.
Nice.
And designates the Boys Fort tribal government as the fiscal agent for the market. And authorizes Amber in coordination with the advisory committee to recommend market policies to review and approve by the council. And this last bullet here has to do with location of the market, but I believe we already got approved for the farmers market area.
Okay, where will that be, Amber?
It will be across from the C-store next to the cemetery.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Good. Well, I know that this farmers market, I mean, we're always looking for very good foods for our people to use. And this farmers market, I think, will be a big plus because I know that they're getting very popular because they're all natural and a lot of people have some good products out there, or organic products, let's put it that way. And so I think this is a wonderful idea. And I know you've been doing a great job with it. And then the committee that you have is made up of community members, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Nice. Okay, any questions for Amber on the resolution?
Yeah, Amber, maybe you could let people know who those people are that serve on that committee with you.
Yes. So Renika, she actually volunteered to be our market manager.
Nice.
So Miigwech, and then Danny Parados, Jill Shucard, she kind of helps with the internal stuff related to like Boys Fort government. And we have Becky Gawboy, and we have Jana Gort. She is actually the Tower Farmers Market Manager. So she kind of helps with the what to do's and the know-hows. And then we've also have Becca Adams too.
Great group of people. Wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, and then I do have a question since Joel's on here. What is being done with the Kwanzaa hut? Because we would like to use that building as for storing our equipment for the farmers market. I didn't know if you would be the one to talk to or not.
You actually would want to talk to Chris Holmes about that. Right now they're storing, I believe, one of the garbage trucks is in there.
Oh,
But
okay.
Chris is on, so he can answer.
Hi, Amber.
Hi.
Yeah. So yeah, Joel is correct. Right now, the solid waste guys and the environmental store their vehicles in there in the wintertime because it's heated. And presently, there's some plans to utilize the office space in there upstairs by some of our staff here. So-
Okay.
So right now it's in use, but certainly willing to help you look around and find a place for you.
Okay, that's good to know. Maybe I will get in contact with you once we kind of know what kind of equipment that will be purchasing.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Amber,
I just have a question, Kath.
go ahead, Dave.
Joel, I know that little garage that's right, you know, that one that's right by that old white pump house that used to be there. That garage that's scheduled to be tore down, right? Because of the new community, the new health services building that's going in.
Yeah, as it sits now, right now, our maintenance staff, building maintenance staff stores a lot of equipment in there.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say maybe they could utilize that because well, I didn't know that they were using that or not. So I thought maybe that was available for her to store her equipment in until it got tore down or whatever. So.
Well, and just keep in mind, I mean, I know it's further away, but if you have to store equipment, you know, we can certainly put it out at the food shelf too.
So like what we're trying to do is just have it like really close to where the market area is, because we would like to have volunteers help set up and close down. So we don't want to have to haul too far.
Right.
Yeah.
Amber,
Maybe
just-
that would be somewhere where we could look for the monies in that infrastructure bills that are coming out, and maybe we could find something for that in one of them monies that are coming out.
I'm pretty sure we can find some money, because I know there's even a lot of dollars coming through the Department of Agriculture.
Okay.
So that's another avenue. Just a heads up is that we are also looking at one of our projects that is a dire need for us here at Boys Fort is a new DNR building. Because the old one is one of the oldest buildings, and our rice and water quality lab is in there. And so that's one of our next projects we're going to be working on for funding, is to move the DNR and environmental into a new building at some point in time. But in the meantime, we will try to, maybe if we can get some funding through the Department of Agriculture. Trav has connections there with the commissioner, because his boys play basketball. And but yeah, we'll see what we can find out for you in the meantime.
Okay, yeah, and it doesn't have to be a really big area.
Like a storage. Yep.
Right, yeah.
Got it. We can figure that one out. Pretty sure we can.
Hey,
Awesome.
Amber,
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Amber, this is Chris again. So yeah, we're starting to get to that question. What do you need to store in there? Big equipment or what is the storage?
So like chairs, tents, tables, garbage cans, maybe even some benches or like sitting for the customers, stuff like that.
Okay. Okay, good. I'm excited for this. This is
Me
exciting.
too.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Any other discussions for Amber? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the resolution for the farmers market.
Oh,
Moved by Dave. Is there a second? Second by Trav? All in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Good job.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Miigwech.
Amber.
Miigwech.
Next, we have Deanna Drift, resolution termination, lease termination.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Dee Dee.
Morning.
Sorry you
Deanna.
can't see me. I don't know what is wrong with our camera over here.
Okay, all right.
So what I have is a termination of residential lease for Peter Drift Jr. Back in June of 2014, the lease had asked that he construct a home on the Cedar Grove 2 development. That has not been done as of 2016 and not done so as the date of this termination. So along with the others, we're requesting to go ahead and terminate that lease.
Okay. Any questions for, and I believe that there were the Cedar Grove 2 project. Those were lots that were done by lottery. And I believe that they were to build a home on there. And the rest of the leases were canceled, but I think this one was just omitted at that time.
Just slipped through the cracks. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions for Dee Dee? Are you talking, Chief? You're muted.
Sorry about that. Was a letter sent out regarding the termination to Mr. Drift?
I've had conversations with him and let him know. And
Okay.
emails, I should say.
Thank you.
Okay. If no other questions, I could have just let Chief talk without even telling him he was muted, but if no other questions, do we have a motion to approve the lease termination for Peter Drift Jr.?
Move.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Okay, good job, Dee Dee. Chris?
Thank you.
Steve.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Janelle Smith with Sorna certification.
Good morning, Janelle.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you. I'm sorry. Okay, what do you have here, my dear?
Okay, so this is a certification for Sorna, which is the Sex Offender Registration and Notification Act. It's done annually for the SMART office. So this is just saying that there's no significant changes have been made to the registration and notification system as of January 22nd of 2021.
Okay.
The only change that has been made is the previous judicial director, Miranda Lilia, has been changed to me as acting director.
Okay. Sweet. Any questions for Janelle? Okay, if not, I'll call for a motion to approve the recertification, I guess, or certification of the Sorna program.
Move.
Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Excuse me.
Second.
Oh, second by Pete. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Good job, Janelle.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Thanks, Janelle.
Miigwech.
Thanks.
Next up, we have Warren Villebrin, revisions to the Boys Fort Terrell Ordinance.
I'm not seeing them on there, him or Travis.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we can come back to them.
Okay.
Next up, we have Jalen Strong, and I believe Jalen has a guest with him, correct, Jalen?
Oh, hang on, let me get him in there.
All right.
Yeah, Nick, if you see, and yeah, okay.
Yep. Good morning, Jalen.
Good morning. Turn on my camera here. So I
morning.
guess,
Hello.
and if you want to introduce yourself, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Bonjour. My name is Anne Garjola. I'm a descendant of Boys Fort. My mom is an enrolled member, and I am currently a Master's of Public Policy student at the Humphrey School, where I've been interning with Tad Johnson for the last 2 years. Nice to see you all.
Nice to have you with us today.
So this Truth Project, I guess, is something that I've been assigned to work on and for everybody that's like watching, or maybe the council members that don't know, MIAC and I guess, Ann, if I'm saying any of this wrong, go ahead and correct me, but MIAC is giving some money, I guess, to the tribes to do a study on like how the University of Minnesota has like affected tribes in different ways, whether that be directly or indirectly. And we're basically taking this semester to research and eventually write up a paper about how they've affected us in the past, how it's currently affecting us, and then what we as tribal nations want to see to improve on the relationship between the university and us. Does that sound about correct?
Yeah. There's a new president. I know that she's spoken with you all before, I believe, and we're really hopeful that we can push through some policy changes that start to change some stuff at the university in regards to tribal relations.
Ann and Jalen, can you explain what TRUTH stands for?
Yeah, so TRUTH is towards recognition and university tribal healing. And so we don't really, a lot of times when we talk about things like structural racism and systemic colonization, people want to jump right to like reconciliation and what can we do, but it's really important for us on this project to correct the narrative that the university has had around being a land grant institution and what that truly means to us as Indigenous people, and use that as a foundation for seeking some of these redresses that we feel the university has a responsibility to uphold.
And I know that when I was at MIAC or at the meeting, this is basically for elders or anybody that can recall, because we're oral historians, what exactly has the University of Minnesota done in the past that has affected us today. And President Gable, the president of the University of Minnesota, is really, she's hired a tribal, I don't want to say liaison, but Karen Diver's in that position now. And we've got Tad Johnson there. And they're really trying to, I don't want to say rectify, but they're really trying to work with the tribes with trying to get some of the pending issues that have been out there for a long time resolved. And this is one of them. And I'm not sure if a lot of people realize, but I was told this by some elders that the paddy rice industry was actually started by the University of Minnesota. And I don't think a lot of people know that, but they did. And so the demise of our wild rice economic impact was through the University of Minnesota. So that's one of the things that I was told by an elder, and I don't know if that's been discussed anywhere, but everybody has their story. So please reach out to Jay or Ann, and these need to be told.
So yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Like, we have to submit like a working plan, because it sounds like there's going to be a lot more of kind of these documents or opportunities to go forward to talk about what has happened with like the university and the tribes. So most people are kind of narrowing it down to like one or two topics to really focus on. And that's kind of what I wanted to ask the council of what you guys wanted me to do, because there's a number of things that I can think of off the top of my head. Like I know in around like the 30s, they went to Net Lake and just started collecting artifacts, whether that be some of our relatives, some of that be our ceremonial objects, things like that. Yep. So there's stuff down there like that. And we've at the Heritage Center, Bill repatriated some of that stuff. But there's still quite a few other things that are down in the cities that need to be talked about. And like the biggest thing, yeah, again, is wild rice. And the mentor that I have now is Michael Dockery. And so he does quite a bit, has quite a bit of knowledge on like wild rice and natural resources in general, which, again, is a big thing for us up here. And I should also say too that sounds like I'm gonna be working with Grand Portage to be their person as well. That's why Anna's on here, I guess. She's gonna be helping me out with
That's great.
because it's be a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's stuff like that. One of the things that I know of again here is that they've come to Net Lake, or they've had students come to Net Lake to record some of our legend stories. There's like a whole book that's kind of out there now. That's not like really for the public, but we have a copy here about some grad student that came to Net Lake to record all these stories and like use it to basically talk about the societal structure, I guess, of the tribe. And that was like probably in the 40s or 50s. And then just recently I got a call over by somebody that came in like the 60s to do some things, and he ended up actually taking like a pipe from somebody's house, and we repatriated that. And that was probably a number of years ago, but he called, and most of the people that he worked with have passed on now, which was kind of interesting to see. But he had worked with some of our elders that are still around. So there's a number of options that we can go in. I think it just, I don't want to be the person to be like, well, this is what I think is important. So I'd like to try to get council's advice, I guess, and then I can kind of go with that. And I'll probably do the same thing with Grand Portage. I'll have to get on their council meeting, and I'll just give you guys updates as we go along. And then my plan, I guess, for the future portion of it, like what they can do to help build this thing, is one thing that I noticed that they don't really do, at least the main U, or even UMD, is they don't do a lot of outreach to us. It doesn't like for our students and provide that access to be able to go down there. Because they're currently working on trying to get like the free tuition for some kids. But that's in the future, right? So like, or even once they get down there, there's some resources, like UMD has the American Indian Learning Resource Center, and then they have kind of like a little small cubicle for like the Indigenous Student Organization. And then down at the Twin Cities campus, they have a Circle of Indigenous Nations, which when I was going there has started to come under kind of like scrutiny, I guess, by kind of like I don't know who, like the people above them, but they're trying to basically merge them with the, what is it, MK? What I can't, Multicultural Center for
Yeah,
Academic.
Multicultural Resource Center, MCAI or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And and a part of that, we have like we have a space set for like the Native Student Organization for it's called American Indian Student Cultural Center. And that's in Kaufman, which that alone, like the name Kaufman comes from essentially like somebody that had pretty racist ideals. And so we're placed in there, and pretty much every year, at least when I was there, or when I was paying attention, has come under fire to like almost get that space taken away, which if you know anything about like the university, like the history of the university, it started, like they call them land grab, like you can land grab universities. So it's the same thing there. The university was started the same year as they signed a treaty with some of the Dakota people for that land. And then didn't even tell them, that. So there's quite a bit wrong with the history of that. And so basically going forward, I'd like to talk about or interview, some of the current students. Obviously my sister goes down there, but somebody like George Strong, Sketty Alex, when he was attending, there's stuff and that they can see that would help us know what they would need to succeed or help keep them there. Because we've had a number of people that I know of attend down there, and some of them haven't graduated, some of them transferred out, or some of them, and then, you know, obviously other people have actually graduated and done stuff like that. But I think like there's a lot of options that we can go with in terms of like how they help us out and repay, or in starting to build an actual relationship with the tribes.
And I think you bring up a good point, Jay, is that right now there's a lot of people that really don't understand how the universities got their land and how there's been no history told at all about the Native Americans and the things that were done either through the federal system or the state system or whatever. So this is huge. We're making strides in it. And this is a way for us to get recognition, I guess, for some of the things that were done, like the artifacts you mentioned. I think that's really important. Those belong to us and they don't belong down at the University of Minnesota. They need to be repatriated back to us. And they had no right taking those things. So to me, that's a very important issue that needs to get resolved. Those need to be returned.
Kind of going off what Kathy said, you know, with those sacred items that are down there, and some of the sacred items that have already been returned to the band, they need to be feasted. You know, we need to do a ceremony for those while they're still at the Heritage Center. You know, whatever they are, if they're the feathers, if they're drums, if they're pipes, whatever. You know, they need to have a ceremony for them, a feast. And whoever they go back to, you know, a lot of the stuff that families had a long time ago, a lot of the water drums. You know, I only know one of that's in existence. You know, and various families had those water drums for the medallion ceremonies that they used to have for the lake. Even if you're talking to Auntie Karen, she shared a picture with us and how they used to have these like carvings of these little like I think it was a man and a little kid, and they used to have it in Strongville, and they used to put like I think it was a hatchet and knife with it. You know, that was used for that had a purpose why they did that. You know, some people would say that it's almost like similar to a totem pole, if you will. You know, where are those? You know, one of our relatives, strong relatives, found an eagle pipe in the lake. Well, he turned around and ended up, like he gave it away, and he shouldn't have did that. But where did that go? It went from one person to the next. You know, and then a lot of this stuff is starting to come back, and it's coming back for a reason. You know, it's finding its way back home where it belongs.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, we do, so at least for here, we feast them every season. We usually have Vern Adams come down, and he smokes his pipe and sings a song for the items that we have here. And we usually have like a little feast between us and then the maintenance guys. But that's a good point to have, like, because most outside organizations don't have that knowledge to do something along those lines. And so like the museums and archives that I've been to in the time that I've been working, like most of them are willing to like listen to that or to like make some sort of change. You know, even something as like not taking a picture of some of like the sacred objects is kind of unknown to them, as you know, not having that knowledge. So I think like even with that point, the things that aren't repatriated to us, or maybe belonging to some other tribal nation, can have like at least some sort of care for it that would be accustomed to what should be, if that makes sense.
And I think that you know, us as a council, even you know, the Heritage Center, even people that work with the language and the culture, need to start making some of the traditional teachings, if not all of them, common again, like they once were before the boarding school era. You know, no tobacco off, and why you do it, how you do it, when you do it, stuff like that, and why we don't tell certain stories in the summertime, why we only tell some stories during the wintertime. Well, those things need to become common once again. It used to be common knowledge back then before the boarding school. So, Neil, how about you?
Good project.
And then like, so the last thing too, I guess, Anne, if you have an answer for this, but so we haven't, that was that 26,000, or it was 22, I think, when it originally started, but it got bumped up to 26,000. We haven't submitted like an invoice for that yet.
Okay,
Main reason being that I don't really know what to use on it. So I don't know what I can do. So like, I mean, I personally don't have, like, we have the funds here for the Heritage Center and like two other programs that I utilize funding for to cover it. But can we just use that for anything? And
Yeah, so that the money is given to each tribal nation, and the reason why some of that amount shifted was because there were a couple of tribes who did not accept the money. So Shakopee and Upper Sioux, for instance. So it's being used by everybody a little bit differently, but there's no strings on it. So you all are able to use it however you see fit. And, you know, like Tad has said, even if you take the money and decide not to participate in the project, then that's, you know, that's still, you know, it's still your money to keep. So whatever you all want to do with it.
and just like, again, I think I had sent an email about that, but the reason that you might not want to take the money is basically you'd be taking money to do an investigation on the, you know, you taking money either from the people that you're doing the investigation on, or like it could be viewed as, you know, almost like almost like a influential type of thing. Like, you know, the university and MIAC are giving us this money to do an investigation on that, and that may not be the best, but you know, like, again, that's up to you as tribal council members. I have no issues, honestly, just giving it to a program that like is restricted on funding and needs something. Like, I don't.
the money was given that flexibility because they know all tribes are different. And like, say, Jay, I'll just use Portage as an example, because you're going to be doing both. You know, they may have different ideas on how to use their portion of the dollars versus what we want to do. I think that because we're a small tribe, I think that utilizing those funds, I don't have a problem taking money from people that are willing to give it. But, you know, I know that it's viewed as, and there are tribes that have these views that they don't want anything to do with the state or the universities, and, you know, don't give us your money or anything. But, you know, I think whatever you guys can come up with is fine with me, as long as the money gets spent. That's all that matters. Is we don't want, whenever we receive funding, we don't want to send anything back either. So.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll send a all boys for an email and see if anybody has, and then we'll just maybe just do like a lump sum, and then if we can send it out to the programs that need it.
Because I know that some of the suggestions were even using it like stipends for elders, if you're going to talk to elders. You know, because there are historians basically. And so maybe in those aspects, but there's various ways you can utilize it. So
Yeah,
whatever you guys can figure out.
Yep. And for that, you know, I can because that data can be documented also for the TIPO, so we can stipend them, you know, from the TIPO funding that we have.
Okay. But great presentation. Thank you.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that's it pretty much for this discussion.
Nice meeting you again, Anne.
Good to meet you.
Miigwech for coming today. Good luck.
Miigwech for hearing us. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Doris Isham for a resolution for EDA grant.
No, Jay's got more.
Yeah, I got.
Oh, he does?
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's still on, okay.
Jay's still on the,
All right.
Jay's still going.
All right.
So I guess this other part is discussion for use of refractory right interviews. This is something that I still have to kind of work with Miranda on to determine how, what to do, I guess. But essentially what it's going to be is it's a program that we're going to allow or have people like interview the elders within their household or people that they see currently, because I don't want, them to be going out and visiting and, possibly spreading the virus. But essentially what it's going to be is like, they're going to talk to someone like one of their household members or somebody that has like hunting, fishing, gathering knowledge. And that recording is going to be used by the TIPO office to help make better arguments or protect some of our sites, our sacred sites, or not necessarily even sacred sites, but just the places that are being currently used. So I go back to like Shane's analogy of like the mining or like the other projects that happen. They slowly kind of chip away at the 1854 treaty area, and we do have people that go out into the treaty area that still hunt, fish, and gather, whether that be in medicines or whether it be like something like a birch bark or anything like that, or even camping, right? So if we have documentation of people that utilize those lands, we can make a better argument as to why those lands should be protected, or as to like why, basically, why they should be protected, or if they are going to be taking, like, what are we going to get in return? So if that's, whether that's like other lands, or if that's like mitigation of like the damage that happens from there, like and I would, so stuff like that basically. And it doesn't have to be, I know like quite a bit of people hunt only on the reservation, so it can be there too, right? So when you talk about like the Highway 65 project coming up, like that would be important to have documentation on. So within the reservation, outside of the reservation, whether that's like here or down towards like even, Minneapolis, St. Paul area, or out towards like Grand Forks, I think like as long as we get some data on like where people are utilizing lands, or where people know that their families had gone, that's basically what the program is going to be. And it's basically going to be in one like month increments. So like this month, so maybe February and March is going to be like usufructuary rights, and then the next time it's going to be like traditional stories or something along those lines, and then or medicinal purposes, like what people have done for that. And so then even if they're not using these locations for medicinal purposes or medicine picking, we can talk like once they do a land survey and discover they have whatever plants there, we could say like, if now that we know about this, our people could use this. And so I think like those would be important to document as well. I think Bill has a couple of these maps on his files, but I've been having a hard time finding them. So I think like I'm trying to not necessarily start from scratch, but kind of like beef up the data that we have here.
And Jay, we ran into that even with maple sugaring. With some land being turned over by the U.S. Forest Service. That's one of the largest maple sugaring spots in Minnesota. And, we can't afford to have that be taken because people are maple sugaring there. That's our right. And so I think that's a really good idea. Again, we're oral historians, and like Jay needs the backup for his TIPO position, and he needs that documentation to mitigate anything that might come up in the future. So I think this is awesome.
And then like, just for people, everyone's aware, I guess, I'm not going to be giving away people's berry picking spots or anything like that. It's pretty much all going to be like,
those are sacred.
Right. So like, or your favorite fishing spot. I'm not going to be giving those away. I'm just going to it's just going to be recorded in like the TIPO archives. And I think the only people that are going to be able to see them is, myself, the council, if they wanted to. And even when I work with like outside organizations, like Bureau of Land Management or Forest Service, they most of the time respect when I'm just saying like, there's a cultural property there. They'll understand like not all the information that we get is supposed to be given out. So
Right.
yeah, it's gonna be private between basically you, whoever records you, and then me probably.
Okay.
I think that, what Kathy brought up too about the maple sugaring, that's Lucin Mountain. They want to take away that land to expand their business, and they want to cut down a lot of the maple trees down there. And that's according to Bruce Savage from Fond du Lac, excuse me, but he brought that up that's one of the best places to get your maple sugaring. And just because a majority of the people don't utilize it shouldn't mean that they should be allowed to destroy it just to create their business, to expand their business. I mean, it could be for my grandchildren that may want to get into that. Maybe they want to go up there or maybe even my great grandchildren. Who knows? And if they are going to be destroying the stuff and by expanding, then I say each tribe should be compensated. And I'm not talking about a one-time compensation. As long as that land is destroyed or that water destroyed, the band should be getting compensated for that. And that's the way it needs to be. It doesn't mean that we approve it what they're doing. It's just a matter of saying, hey, you're taking away something from us, then you need to replace it with something. That's just my thought.
Okay, thanks, Shane.
Yeah, and I guess going off of that, like that's a couple of things that I've noticed, coming back here to work is people want to know how to do this stuff. They just don't know either where to go or who to ask or how to get started. And if that's a spot that is good, there's nothing really stopping us from traveling to Grand Portage and then staying there and then having like a 1854 class or some sort of traditional class with us where we can talk about how to do tap maple trees. And then again, that's what Shane's talking about, having those kind of not necessarily restitution, I guess, for in perpetuity, basically is that for a lot of forestry type people, whenever they're surveying land and they set so much dollars, the land is worth so much based on the cords. What doesn't really get taken into account that often, especially from a Western point of view, is that this maple tree can provide some goods for us that is used not only in ceremony, but economically, and you can give them as a gift or bagijigan. So there's all these different uses for that, and those things can be provided for years and years. We know, scientifically, you can say that these trees will live for 75 years. And, even if they're good for tapping for 65 years, those trees are also going to obviously, pollinate or whatever to making more trees. So that land is what's important. And so if that land is being destroyed, the uses for that land would last for in perpetuity, as long as it's being taken care of. And so if it's not being taken care of, then that's exactly what Shane was saying.
Yeah. So Jay, on your did you say you have to work with Miranda on this more, or do you have an agreement that needs to be approved?
So basically, I had it all done. I sent it to Jeff, and Jeff kind of looked it over, and I did the review. And then I was talking to Miranda, and she said that I should reach out to her and send it to her to double check if everything's good from an HR standpoint. And then it can be improved.
Okay. Do you want to bring it back then, or if you need it sooner than that, just let us know.
Sure.
We'll try to get that done for you as soon as we can.
Okay.
Good. Wonderful. Good discussion.
All right.
Exciting. Thank you so much for your presentation today.
Oh, if I can give a quick shout out too.
Sure.
I'm going to be starting a language class on the 23rd. We're going to be sending out some stuff class supplies basically on the 14th. So the sign up date is going to be on the 14th. The actual start date is going to be on the 23rd. It's going to be on Zoom, but I hope to have it almost try to keep it within the community up here, so International Falls to like Virginia or something. And then I like that. Then I'm gonna have like a separate class for the Duluth kind of area.
Okay,
And then hopefully get a separate class for like the Bemidji area, and then
Okay.
another class for the metro area.
got it.
And we'll send like, so, and it'll be taught by different people, so it's not just gonna be me.
Okay,
Hopefully people in the communities of like where they're residing. So that's gonna be coming up.
okay, good.
yeah.
Good.
Jay,
Make sure we get that out on the website too.
Jay, what, when you start the class, is it gonna be in the evening or?
Yeah, it'll be a 6-week class starting, I think, I'll have to double check, but I think it's at like 5 to 6:30, I think.
Okay.
So you know, I have enough time to get home, and it'll mostly be like talking with each other, which might be hard on Zoom, but we'll figure it out.
Okay. We're improvising, right, Jay?
Yeah.
Okay, good news. Thank you so much, and make sure we get that out to on the website and on our Facebook page and everything.
Yeah. I've just been slacking, so I got
Okay. Okay, well, thank you so much, Ann and Jay. Good discussions and good projects. Thank you very much. Miigwech.
Miigwech.
Okay, now we have Doris Isham for a resolution for a EDA grant.
I see Eric. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Kathy. I don't see Doris.
I don't see Doris.
I'm trying to get her in.
Oh,
There's
okay, all right.
2 names for her, so hopefully.
There she is. Good morning, Doris.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear us, Doris?
I can now, yes.
Okay,
So, sorry about that.
it's okay.
So as you know, we've been working over the past few months on a project, grant project that through the EDA for an Indigenous Communities Program project. And what that'll do is construct a community health building. We've been working with program staff and the Tribal Council. We've retained DSGW as architects, and we're working with Josh Bergstaff from ARDC for grant writing purposes. Just a little background, the RTC and the staff have worked to identify a priority for the reservation, and one of those priorities was a community health building. So then we went into identifying the location and working with the different programs such as Joel on Public Works, Chris Holmes on environment, and there was a lot of meetings held, Tribal Council participated, and we got into the preliminary plans. And so what this resolution does is to approve that. And first I wanted to introduce Eric Wedge, who is with DSGW. I also have Lynette Tottenham, the Health and Human Services Director, and Terry Morrison should be on the community health nurse if you have any questions that they might answer for you. So what the project is an amounted to is 2,926, or no, $2,926 and I'm messing this up. Let me try again. It's $2,926,204,000 to EDA, and the Tribal Council is contributing a match of $718,000. So I'm going to stop right here and see if there's any questions that you have for the other people on the meeting. Eric, maybe you can just introduce yourself.
Well, bonjour, everybody. My name is Eric Wedge. I'm a principal architect at DSGW Architects. My office is located in Virginia, Minnesota, so I'm about 60 miles south of Nett Lake. Have done other projects with you guys in the past, and would be willing to share my screen if we wanted to, and could show a floor plan of, I'll start with the site plan, and then we can show the floor plan that we've been working through with Terry Morrison and her group, her staff. So.
Welcome, Terry.
Can people see my screen? I guess that's always my first question in Zoom.
It's black. Oh, there we go. Yep.
All right. So the site is between Nett Lake Road and St. Mary's Drive, just west of your existing fitness center. So the existing fitness center is here. Nett Lake Drive is here. You have some residential properties that bound the west-hand side, and the Tribal Government Center is up here to the north. What we've done is we've designed a roughly 12,800 and some square feet. Let's just say it's 13,000 square feet. It has, I'll show a floor plan, but this is just generally the orientation of the building on the site. The site lines up with the fitness center parking lot. So we will be connecting the fitness center parking lot. We will have 13 client parking spaces. We have 6 right tight to the building, 7 across. And then we have 21 staff and or client parking spaces, depending on the occupancy of the building. We do have an interior garage. So we have a drive lane, which would allow for Terry to store 6 of the vehicles that go out into the community to do their services, so that those vehicles are protected undercover. It would be a heated garage, so they could also wash vehicles inside of it. And that has a directional traffic that flows east to west through it. One of the things we are adding on the site would be this path that takes you from the fitness center north to the community center and to the ENP program, so that people could access this in a pedestrian way also. We are allowing for this to become the way we orientated the building. It would allow for future expansion either to the north or to the west, depending on potential property acquisition to create a future medical campus if needed be, if expansion is needed in the future. So we didn't utilize this complete site. Any questions on the site currently as it's kind of laid out? I know I've met with some of you. Some of you guys have seen the process already, but that's where we ended up on the site plan and the site design. I think in previous versions that some of you might have seen, the orientation was rotated 90 degrees, but it was a preferred orientation of the building to be lined up with the fitness center, so that it's almost like a town and inline.
I really like it. I was involved with some of the recent drawings, and I haven't seen this one yet, but this looks really good. Good job,
Well, I
everybody.
appreciate that. We will
Yes.
quickly go into the floor plan. I'll be respectful of anybody's time. I can talk. I'm excited about this project, and I can talk for a long time about it. And I want to be respectful of everybody else's time today. But as we get into the floor plan, again, we have that parking garage, drive-through doors, ability to park 6 cars, a mechanical room, electrical, storage rooms. a hallway that accesses the garage space and creates secondary means of egress. We do have 20 Health and Human Services offices, and those 20 offices surround the perimeter of this building. Each office gets an exterior window, so there is no office internally that does not have a window to it, which provides really nice daylight and comfort for your staff. When you walk in the front vestibule door, you'll be met with a receptionist in a waiting room. This waiting room also doubles as a pre-function space for a conference room. We have a conference room that'll accommodate approximately 60 people. So that's a nice size conference room. It does have a demonstration kitchen so that they will be able to open a folding panel partition. The kitchen would be able to be open to the conference room, and they would be able to demonstrate cooking classes. That was one of the needs that were established. We do have kitchen storage so that they would be able to bring supplies in through the garage, through this back hallway into the kitchen, and then bring the supplies out of the kitchen storage room as needed. Also, we have a table and chair conference room storage here. So for tables and chairs that are not currently being utilized for whichever program is being hosted here, those would be able to be stored and out of the way. I think as you go to the other side, we do have a mother's room. The mother's room is for mothers to breastfeed their babies in privacy and in comfort. It would also have a fridge for staff that they could do that and they could store. It is one of the code requirements of a building of this size that you have a mother's room. And then we do have 2 client meeting rooms. So your clients would come in, wait in the waiting room, and then meet with staff in these client meeting rooms. Everything from the staff wise, we have a secure door here, a secure door here. Your clients would not only be invited back should the nursing staff, health staff choose to bring them back. The beauty of this is these doors can be locked in the evening hours, and your conference room could be utilized after hours where you would not have clientele free reign of the building. So we are looking at a wood framed building with some hip roofs. This is kind of the schematic design, so it's a work in progress, but you can kind of get a 3-dimensional view of what it would look like. And I guess with that, to be respectful of anybody's time, I would open it up for any questions, comments, or concerns that they may have with the plan or the project. And then Terry or Lynette, you could speak up on our process, because we went through several versions, but this was the kind of the final version that we ended up with.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just going to ask Terry if she could mention the issues that we have with our and Lynette, the issues that we have with space. You know, for these programs to provide services, if you guys could elaborate a little bit on that, why we went this avenue.
We went this avenue because now we don't have enough space, office space to hire new staff. We're looking at expanding some programs into the long-term services and supports, which is elder care and waivered services, but we don't have anywhere to put new staff. We're also spread out probably over 3 different buildings. And it would be nice to have everything in the one spot. That would allow us to have like one-stop shopping. So if someone could come in for WIC, then they could be led down the hall to other programs. We'd say, oh, have you used this program? You use this program. Have you met the nutrition educator? Do you know about the New Lives program? And then people would be able to, you'd be able to, it's called a warm handoff, where you would actually introduce them. They're much likely to participate in the next program if they've actually met the staff, and that instead of having to cold call someone they don't know. It's going to be really nice. Right now we're sharing the cooking class space with the E, and we can't get in there till they're done, which is afternoon. And then we're trying to squeeze in there, and we're kind of in the, so to have our own area would be great. We're hoping it'll be easier to expand services we already have and to add new ones.
Good. Miigwech. Shane, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say that, the various meetings that we've had on this, it's just been exciting as each meeting, as we progress towards the drawing that we now have, and to the location. If you drive by the fitness center, you can basically imagine what it's going to look like right next to the fitness center. And the only thing I would ask Eric is that if we could put, or if there's plans to put a like a canopy above the front door, like the one you have at the current health office, so if it snows and, and it'll kind of help keep the snow off or the rain off, the elders as they walk to the doorway.
Yeah, this is Eric. I can kind of show you that. We do have that canopy showing up here, and if you're wanting something larger, we can definitely look at increasing that, but that would be your cover for your main entrance, as people would be dropped off in that drive around here. They would walk undercover and be undercover.
Kathy, I just wanted to add too that the funding is coming from the ARPA funds, American Recovery Program Act, or it has to do with the pandemic.
Yep.
And so one of the guidelines was that it addresses health community needs, and so that was one of the reasons why we opted to go with the community health plan.
Yeah, I think, and Doris, I want to commend you on your grant writing. You've been going full blast ever since, I don't know when. But like Doris said, this can come out of the ARPA funding, a portion, if the grant is funded. And then if not, we'll look at other avenues or ways that we could possibly get it, because it's much needed. It's much needed for the community, for our elders and for our young families, and for our services. When you're jumping from 3 different buildings, like now in the winter, and it's 14, 15 below, you just don't want to do that. To have everything confined into one building is just, it's just a better service model. But I want to commend you all on the work. It's a great job from what I've seen, and it's very much needed for the community and for the people. Do we have any questions for Doris or Eric or Terry or Lynette regarding this project? Doris, I do. When will we know about this, and what are the timelines for the grant application with the EDA?
Well, we're hoping to get the grant sent in later this week.
Okay.
And there's a deadline for March 31st. And then we'll hear within probably about two months after that day. So probably end of May, beginning of June.
Good. And I know Doris has been pushing this grant because it's on a first come, not a first come first served basis, but the sooner you send it in, the better. And like she said, it's due in March, but she wants to get it in as soon as possible. So she's really been good about trying to get everybody to meet. We've been meeting weekly with regards to this. The other thing is that also, when we do these types of projects, like, I even mentioned Doris is going to be working on the DNR soon, that when funding becomes available, they're looking sometimes for shovel-ready projects. And even if this doesn't get funded, we will have it ready for maybe another pot of money that comes down that we may be eligible for. So all this work will already be done. It may affect costs because we know that supply issues ongoing, but we will have shovel-ready projects ready to go in the event that these don't get funded. But our fingers are crossed, and we're very hopeful that this project gets funded because it's very much needed. So great job, Doris. Terry and Lynette and Eric, you guys are doing a great job on this project. Joel. Everybody involved. Any questions for Doris or Eric or the rest that I said? We do have a resolution she needs to submit with the grant.
I just had a question for Eric.
Okay.
The mechanical rooms, are those in by the garage area there? I can't hardly see that little printing.
Yes, this is the large mechanical room here. It is
Okay.
centrally located so that we can run our air handling units to various parts of the building. So yes, we do have it centrally located. We did put the electrical room. A lot of times the mechanical and electrical room are connected, or we put the electrical room on the opposite side because we will have an emergency generator, have provisions to put an emergency generator in. And one of the complaints with some of your other previous facilities is that when they start the diesel generator up, the fumes get sucked into the intake for the mechanical air, and you get diesel fumes in the building. So we did separate those.
Okay. What kind of heat are we gonna have in there? Is that propane or?
That is what you currently have up in that lake. So yes, we would have propane boilers.
Okay. What about in that garage, like where the drainage is at for the, is that kind of a?
We'll put a centralized drain down the driving lane so that as the cars, the snow and the ice melts, it would go into there.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know all the public works, they have a really nice drainage system out there, so.
And we specifically like to design that floor drain really wide so that you can lift the grates up and you can get a good shovel in there to shovel the sediment out. So
okay, yeah, it looks good. I mean,
Very nice.
excited to see that come up. Our staff, is cramped in quarters, and it'll be good for them to get, get that room and get more elbow room anyway, so.
I would just like to say Terry, Lynette, and Doris have been great to work with on this project, and we've really listened to what their needs are. One of the items that you may not have picked up on the plan was that we have these storage closets in between, and one of the complaints of their biggest complaint at their current facility is that there's HIPAA violations and there isn't a lot of privacy in the offices. So these closets will add for an additional acoustic barrier in the walls so that a person having a conversation in this office can't hear this, and vice versa. So we've really thought about how we can make the sound attenuation extremely better than what your current situation is.
That's really good. Thank you for pointing that out, Eric. Okay. All right. So do we have any other questions? If not, I can call for a motion to approve Doris's resolution for the EDA grant for the community health building.
Okay, I just like.
Oh, go ahead, Doris.
Before we do that, I just like to give credit to Josh Bergstrom from ARDC.
Oh, yes.
When we were talking with Jeff about our attorney, there were some questions he had, and so he talked to EDA and learned from that conversation that this grant is going to be very competitive. And so the federal government, EDA was given $7.5 million for our region in Chicago, which covers the 5-state area. And so we chose to work with Josh from ARDC because he's very knowledgeable and experienced in writing EDA grants. And so he agreed to help us out with this and at no charge to the reservation. And that's what ARDC does, is to help when they're asked. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to Josh. So I have the resolution, and what the resolution is requesting is number one is to submit the submission of an application for the EDA Indigenous Communities Program Notice of Funding Opportunity Grant for the construction of the Boys Fort Community Health Center. And two, the receipt of the grant funds in the event of an award of up to $2,926,204, and approval of the third one would be approval of the Boys Fort share in the amount of $718,000. That would be our contribution to the Community Health Center project. And so that's what the resolution would be approving.
Okay.
Oh, and then lastly, that I would be, as the grant manager, be the authorized representative for the EDA grant award. And the reason why my name is there is because I am a authorized representative and grants.gov. And so somebody has to be the signee of the document.
Okay,
You would be giving me that authorization to be that person.
okay. Sounds good. And Doris, thanks for mentioning Josh at ARDC, because I think that, you know, when you're trying to go for these competitive grants, we need all the partnerships or collaborations with those that have done it before, like we did with Dave Dance with the Indian Housing Block Grant programs, because they've written them before. They know the kind of what not to do type things. But I really want to thank you for that, because it is a nice partnership that you guys have with ARDC with regards to this application for sure. Are there questions for Doris on what she just mentioned with anything with the resolution authorizing her to be the grant, the authorized rep for the EDA grant? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve this resolution. Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Great job, everybody. Good luck.
Thank you.
One question for
Miigwech.
Doris. Doris.
Yes.
Oh yeah, hey, there's if there's any money left over out of the project, would there be money maybe to aside for some outside for the staff to like have like a little picnic area or something during the summer where they could eat outside or whatever? Or I don't know if there's any smokers in that building or I've never seen anybody standing outside smoking, but I don't know if you thought about that, or there might be some money left over from the project use for that, or
For the project, I know we do have some landscaping included in there.
oh, okay, I just thought of that. I don't have none for the smokers, but
Look at Terry. Look at Terry
I'm
Morrison.
just thinking about the
No.
people that want to eat outside in the summertime.
I think Terry Morrison's the only one that folks.
No smoking at the health department.
Thanks, guys. Great job.
Yeah, good job.
Really good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and just for information, Warren's gonna come on after Jeff, so.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we have Pam Hughes, agreement for long-term homeless.
She'll be coming, I'm pretty sure.
There she is.
There she is. Oh,
Yeah, she's listening.
Pam the
So.
plant. Well, there she is. Hi, Pam.
Hello. So I'm asking for approval for the 2022 through 2023 LTH SSF, which is the long-term homeless program, and it's the subcontract with White Earth.
Okay. White Earth is just being the basically the go-through for funding, correct?
Yeah, because White Earth holds the contract with DHS. And then it's just part of the Minnesota Tribal Collaborative. And so we then become a subcontract.
And they subcontract with other tribes, not just Boys Fort.
Correct. There's 6 other.
Okay. Any questions for Pam? This is just like kind of like a renewal.
Yeah,
it's not
before. We aren't getting the amount of money before. In the past, we received 120,000 per year. Now we will receive just a little under 99,000. And that's only due to, we had one of the tribes join the tribal collaborative, and they were not a part of this contract
Oh.
before. So the dollars were then split amongst
Wait.
the trust.
Okay, got it. Any questions for Pam? Nice hat.
Thanks.
If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the agreement for long-term homelessness supportive services subcontractor agreement. Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Good job, Pammy.
Good.
McWitch.
Yep.
Keep up the good work. Okay, next we have Jeff.
Jeff, resolution for vaccine.
Okay, can I put you guys on hold for 1 second here? Shane's having some issues.
Sure.
I got kicked off.
I guess.
I didn't do it.
Must have been chief.
Oh,
Anyway, I did it. When you called for the approval of that thing, I said aye, just for the record.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Jane. Are you ready, Nikki?
Yes, we're good to go.
Okay, okay, Jeff.
Morning, council.
Good morning.
Morning.
You guys, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, good. All right, you have before you a resolution that is updating the Boys Fort vaccination requirement. I think this was this came out of discussions at the Turk meeting, Boys Fort Turk meetings over the last few weeks. And I was directed to take the resolution that council had adopted at the end of last year and give it some updates. Obviously, you know, as you all know, there's things changing not only every week, but every day. And so it was time to take a look at the requirement and provide some updates to it based on those Turk meetings. And so that's what the resolution does. It's not all brand new. It's sort of an amendment to the resolution that council adopted at the end of last year to add some additional layers. Real quick, I'll just maybe give a summary of what those big changes are. I guess for starters, maybe it's important to point out there's been a lot of federal vaccine requirements. This resolution is not in response to those. This is a Boys Fort specific requirement. So it's the band's own decision as a part of its inherent sovereignty to establish public health guidelines. It's not based on any federal requirement. It's a Boys Fort policy. The two main components that are changed, or additions, I should say. The first is the addition of a booster requirement for tribal government employees and enterprise employees. The resolution adds a requirement for those employees to produce proof of a booster vaccine, depending on when they're eligible, of course. So it reflects the CDC and the MDH guidance about when individuals are eligible for the booster. And so it uses basically the same process of employees going to HR departments and producing that proof of a booster vaccine. And, you know, without going into a lot of detail, I think the plan is for HR departments at Fortune Bay and within the tribal government to roll that out and speak to employees about the logistics of it if council decides to adopt it. The second piece is when you all adopted the vaccine requirement back at the end of last year, it initially had a testing requirement for individuals who received an exemption. And That was put on hold initially by council just because of the really limited testing supplies at the time. There was discussion at the Turk meeting about adding that testing requirement back in. And so I was directed to put some language in that would require exempt employees to have like a weekly testing requirement. And so this resolution does add that. The key parts is basically a weekly testing requirement for exempt employees. That requirement, at least based on what the resolution says now, wouldn't be effective for a couple of weeks, just to give the HR department some time to get the logistics and communicate with employees to make sure everyone understands what's going on. But that is the second bigger change, I should say, or addition to the resolution, is the testing requirement for exempt employees.
Jeff, I have a question.
Sure.
And this is at the employee's expense?
Right. I know there was some discussion in the Turk meeting about that. Right now, the resolution provides that, yeah, it's the employee's responsibility to obtain the testing and get the testing done. I think the logistics of how that will work with the HR departments will be kind of left to them under this resolution to figure out how that might work and times to come in and how to produce the test results. That's not all laid out in the resolution, just because things are changing so much that that'll be kind of up to the HR departments, at least how the resolution reads now. Yep. Okay.
And we're looking at a 2-week lag time for this resolution, or
that is the case for the testing requirement for exempt employees. The resolution right now, I think, says it begins on the week of February 13th or February 14th. So when I was discussing with Beth and Miranda, just, there's some work to be done to get the logistics in place and to communicate it. And so they would, had requested some of that additional time to get things in place. The booster requirement, according to what the resolution says now, would provide that individuals who are eligible now for the booster would need to produce proof of that to HR within 14 days of this resolution passing. So that would be starting from today, that 14-day period, if council approves the resolution.
Okay. And in our Turk meeting, it's our Tribal Emergency Response Committee, where we meet every other week regarding the numbers of pandemic, changes in the guidelines and whatever. But just so individuals know that this testing requirement part of it is only involving about 10 to 15 people on the government side. I'm not sure about on the enterprise side, but it's not a lot. A lot went through with the mandated vaccines, and some can't get them for whatever reasons. So we're not talking about a lot of staff. But yes, it was withheld because the tests were really hard to come by at the time this was first implemented, because it was first in there, and that's when we decided to hold off. Because there was a limitation on the number of tests we could get, where that is not the case now. Now the case is with home test kits. So, okay. Any questions for Jeff?
No, regarding this resolution, and the one that we passed for the vaccine mandate, I must commend the council for approving it. I know it was a hard decision. It was just in a manner of trying to keep our employees safe and our community safe. And that I know that some didn't want to do it, and then they chose what they wanted to do, and we were just doing it to try and keep our employees safe, keep our community safe, keep our work site safe. And myself, I went through COVID, and it was not any fun. It wasn't, and it was scary. And I do believe that first shot that I got basically kept my symptoms mild. And I'll be forever grateful for that vaccine.
Like which, Shane?
Yeah, I'd like to comment on that too. I mean that when I got the vaccine and I got the booster, and this past month here, I ended up getting COVID, and my symptoms were mild compared to somewhat of the people that I'd heard that got really sick and were ended up in the hospital and stuff like that, and they're still having problems after the fact, after they've had it, and they're still feeling side effects. And but yeah, I mean, I really, I really think that we got the boosters and that we got the vaccines here at our reservation, and we all had the opportunity to pick and choose if we wanted to get that, and the ones that did get the vaccine and the boosters, if they did getting COVID, you didn't get as sick as some people were. My symptoms were just really mild, and I was really thankful for that. And again, we have to do something just to keep people safe and keep our community safe and our families safe and everyone around us safe. And so, like I said, I'd like to commend the council and our dirt committee for everything that they've done to keep us all safe and from this virus or whatever you want to call it. So again, I don't have no problem with taking action on this and approving this.
Miigwech, Dave. Okay, if no other comments, I'd like to ask for approval of the updating the Bois Forte COVID-19 vaccination requirement for tribal government and enterprise employees.
Move.
Moved by Chief. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Great job, Jeff.
No.
Thank you.
Now this is
Thank you,
this going to
Council.
go out to all the this going to go out to all the staff or so they get a copy of the resolution so they know what it's about, or is it how is it going to be communicated to their staff?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, because I know that, I just gave a quick summary and I'm sure employees will have lots of questions. I think Beth and Miranda both plan to, now that the resolution's passed, get memos or kind of summaries out and make sure that employees kind of are aware of what the requirements are and the deadlines and everything. So,
yeah. So if they do get it, I'd like to have them get one where the signatures are on it saying that it was approved. So
Yeah.
not just
Sure.
looking at a blank piece of paper with no signatures on it. So.
Okay.
Sure.
Thanks,
All right.
Jeff.
Thank you, Council.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Jeff.
We do.
Hey,
Okay,
is Jeff gonna stay on for these certifications, these as questions, or?
Yeah, but we've got Warren Gilburn next.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Travis is joining them too. So Warren and
Okay.
Travis are up.
Good morning. Morning, gentlemen.
Warren's locked
Can you
up.
hear us? Oh,
There we go.
there.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Warren. We can't see. There you go. There you go. Morning,
Sorry
Travis.
about earlier. I'm here to request your approval of 3 revisions to the Terrell ordinance.
Okay.
The first one would be a proposed revision to add Indian Point to the definition of the band's territory in Chapter 4, letter P.
Okay.
The second would be a revision to define the term on or near an Indian reservation as within the Bois Forte reservation boundaries and within 100 miles of that boundary.
Okay.
And then the third revision would be to increase the 2% tariff fee and up it to 4%. And the commission is just seeking your approval for these revisions.
Okay, and these have been run through the Terrell Committee, Warren?
Yes.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
answer that. So before Warren came on board, we did hold a Terrell commission meeting where this was approved by a vote for the commissioners that were there, and so it is approved. All of these have been run through and approved by the commission.
Okay, and you're increasing the Terrell fee from 2% to 4%.
Yes, that's correct.
And we did a study, and we called around to the other tarot programs to find out what their tarot fees were. And it ranged anywhere from 2, which is where we were at the lower end, to 4. And so we just felt like, we have projects coming up, and we have a lot of opportunity in the next year. And 4 was the number that was voted on.
Okay.
So I have a question. What about projects that are already in the pipeline that have been bid on at 2%? Stay at 2%?
Yeah, those will stay. This will be going forward now. And we wanted to get this really done before these highway projects and stuff really get their final approval. Because I know that the state is already well aware of the 4% change. So it's been included in those contracts. So now we just need it to be approved.
I know that the other part is the on or near an Indian reservation. That's always been a somewhat gray area as to what's considered near. So I'm glad that you define that finally, because near could be 5 miles, it could be 100 miles, What I was told, I did attend the National Tarot Conference a couple of years ago, is that anything that's deemed reasonable travel time to get to work. And I know that, for example, like the construction industry, you travel all over. You go where the work is, whether it be, because I know that we had people working construction from the reservation that traveled over 100 miles to go to work one way, so I'm glad that it's finally defined near. So I think that's a good thing. And then thank you for adding Indian Point.
Yep.
Any other questions for Warren or Travis on the revisions to the tarot ordinance?
Oh, good job.
Okay, if not,
Thank
I'll
you.
call for a motion to approve those revisions.
Move.
Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried, and those will go into effect today then, correct?
Yes.
Yep. Okay,
Perfect.
sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good job,
Good
Warren.
job, guys.
Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
Nikki, can you get Jeff back on?
Kathy, would you like me to just read through everything, or do you want to take it position by position?
We'll take it by position by position.
Okay.
Quick question, do we want to let the candidates in that?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh,
I had a
you
question.
see his chief.
I had a question real quick. Am I on there?
Yeah,
Okay. Do we need to be excused to do anything?
you can't vote on your own.
No, I don't
Okay.
think so, because all the years I've been on, I've never made a motion or second to my certification, but I've voted on it because you can do it if you want, you can excuse yourself if you want, but you don't have to, because you're just doing your job as an elected official to
Certify.
Yep.
certify any of the candidates. So with your own, you can vote for it, but you don't have to make a motion or second to certify yourself. So, but you can then vote to support support the motion in second. So, but no, you don't have to excuse yourself on the position that you're applying for, because if there's other people that are running, you don't have to do that. But if you want an option to do that, well, that's up to you. I mean,
Yeah.
but no, you don't have to.
Okay. I was just asking. There went my cigarette break.
Okay,
Well, we had that happen last election in 2020. When when we had the candidates come up and Kathy stepped away, Travis took over as chair. Then when it came for Travis's spot for the candidates, then Travis stayed silent. And then Kathy came back and chaired the meeting. So that's what I'll be doing on my part.
Okay.
When it comes up to the District 1 seat, what I'll do is I'll turn off my camera and mute my mic, but I'll still be here.
Okay, gotcha, Shane. Thank you. Thank you for that explanation. Okay.
Just one other thing to add to that, if all the councils looked at through the 6 reservations, I'd be around to certify. But again, it's just an option that how you feel, and but again, you don't have to excuse yourself on certifying for any of the positions.
Well, thank you
Okay.
for the clarification.
I had a quick
Thank you.
question. What do we have a question about somebody's residency? Maybe? And
Is Jeff on?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Jeff has a question on if somebody questions residency.
yeah, if we're trying to certify everyone today, and one of the candidates, I know it's been brought to my attention that she maybe doesn't live on the reservation. She lives somewhere else. And I'll just throw it out there. It's Adrian Whiteman. And she's saying she lives at her dad's here in the village. I've heard that she lives in Sudan or Tower or somewhere like that. But what do we do if we're going to question the residency? Do we just question it and not certify her till we find out? Can she prove that she's staying at her dad's?
Yeah, so I haven't seen any of the documents about that, about what's been submitted. But I think if, at the end of the day, the MCT election ordinance gives the governing body of the respective bands the responsibility to certify. I know that there are resolutions that have been passed by council, previously that give some guidance about what the residency requirement means, because I think there's some, there's flexibility in terms of defining that too for each band. So I think, if you've got questions about that and how it might apply to a particular candidate, I think we'd want to take a look at that specific residency resolution, look at the facts and basically the documents that have been submitted, and then, ultimately have a vote for certification. Again, I haven't looked at this particular one, so I feel like I can't, obviously advise on it specifically until I take a look, but I think that would be the general process: is first looking at what's been submitted, looking at the resolution for Boys Ford about how it defines residency, and then council discussing and voting for certification based on that.
Jeff, if there's a question on residency, shouldn't the individual questioning it write something up to the tribal council?
Sure. I think that there's, so if you've got, if you don't feel like you have the information, or there are questions based on what's been submitted and council wants some additional information, I think it's reasonable to request some additional information. I think that candidate should have the opportunity to, answer those questions as well for their benefit. So, right. I don't know if that means that, with respect to that candidate, it's a premature discussion today and there's more, more work to do. I don't know, what you've all looked into or if you have further questions, but I think that'd be doable if council's got additional questions to ask.
Okay, that was just my question. I didn't.
Yep.
It was brought up to me that she possibly might not live here, but I don't.
And I think your question's a good one, which is like, what's the process? We have a resident, the Boys Fort's got a residency requirement and a resolution that sort of explains it. Council's responsible for certifying. What's the process? I don't know of a policy that describes the process, but I think council's got the ability to ask questions or get some additional information if it needs it reasonably, to be able to make the decision to certify. I think that's reasonable.
Okay, would you like me to continue?
Hey, your building's on fire there, Joe.
I've got my Mr. going. Mister. Okay. So I'll start with Secretary Treasurer. We have Tracy Dagan. We have Tara Gishik and David C. Morrison Sr.
Chairwoman on.
Sorry, I
phone.
had Gary Fraser on the line regarding the certification. In talking with him, he said that if the council certifies individuals today and there's a question on certification, then that whoever has the question on the certification can file a challenge to the Minnesota Chippewa tribe. But if there's questions prior to the meeting by the council, then that individual probably should not be certified until those questions are answered. So we have Tracy Dagan. Do we have a motion to approve Tracy Dagan
Move.
as Secretary Treasurer candidate? Made by Shane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, silent, motion carried. Next, we have Tara Gijik for Secretary Treasurer. Do we have a motion to approve Tara Gijik?
Move.
Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, silent, motion carried. Next, we have David Morrison Senior. I'm sorry, David C. Morrison Senior. Gosh.
Move.
Moved by Shane. Quit laughing so hard. Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there a second?
I said, yeah, I'll second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so second by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, silent, motion carried.
All right, for the District 1, I'm gonna be silent.
Okay, all right, Shane, thank you.
Okay, for the District 1 names, we have Simona Benner.
Do we have a
Shane.
motion? Oh, go
Oh, I'm
ahead.
sorry.
I was just gonna go through and do the motions.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah,
Is that okay? Okay.
sure.
Do we have a motion to approve Simona Benner?
Move.
Jane is excused. Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Joel,
Okay, we have Shane G. Drift.
do we have a motion to approve Shane G. Drift for District
Move.
1? Moved by Chief. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Mildred R. Holmes.
Do we have a motion to approve Mildred R. Holmes for District 1? Who is that? Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
David H. Villebrand Jr.
Next, we have David H. Villebrand Jr. for District 1. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move.
Oh, moved by Travis, second by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Adrian R. Whiteman.
Next, we have Adrian R. Whiteman. Do we have a motion to approve?
I just had a question about the residency, that's all.
Okay, so you want to you want her to prove documentation of residency before certifying?
Yeah,
Okay,
I saw that it says at her dad's, but I know people had brought it up saying that she don't live there. And
okay.
are you prove-
So today we won't certify Adrian, but we'll give her the option to prove her residency. Okay.
Okay,
Once she presents that documentation, then we'll go from there. Okay, Joel.
all right, moving on to District 2. Peter F. Boney.
Oh, moved by David, seconded by Shane for Peter F. Boney for District 2. Okay.
All in favor?
Oh, all in favor signify by saying aye, thanks. Opposed, silent,
Aye.
motion carried. Sorry,
Hannah Chosa.
do we have a motion to approve Hannah Chosa for District 2?
Move.
Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Okay, we have Robin Gishik.
We have a motion to approve Robin Gijek for District 2.
Move.
Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, silent, motion carried. Next
Robert.
week. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Robert H. Moyer Jr.
Next, we have Robert H. Moyer Jr. Do we have a motion to approve him for District 2?
Move.
Moved by Chief. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Travis. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Timothy D. O'Leary.
Okay, next we have Timothy D. O'Leary. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move.
Moved by Shane. Is there a
Second.
second? Second by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Okay, Wicco popped her head in here, and we do have to do a lottery draw for how the names will be on the ballots. We won't be able to do that for District 1, but we can do it for the Secretary Treasurer and District 2. So I need to go grab some names. I'll be back.
How you been feeling, Dave?
Oh, been good. Feeling really good.
Okay, I'm back. We have the names for the drawing for the way they will be on the election ballot. I have Nikki Irving doing the drawing. This will be for secretary treasurer. As you can see, I have three things here. So there's Nikki. Okay, Nikki. Want to make sure it's legit. Okay, first name on the ballot. I can't see it either. Here's your camera. Tracy Dagan. Tracy Dagan will be first on the ballot. Next on the ballot will be. Nikki's trying to do it to school. Tara Gishik. Tara Gishik. And of course, then last will be David Morrison Senior as listed on the ballot. We do have to have the certifications into the MCT by February 10th. So we will have February 8th as the deadline for Adrian to get that certification in, that documentation for certification for residency by February 8th. Now they ran to grab the ones for District 2. Then at that time, we'll do a lottery drawing for that district for the way the names are on the ballots. Oh, we even have a little basket this time. Yeah, there's too many. So. Okay, all right, here's for District 2. Oh, sorry.
Trying to grab there.
Okay, first one for District 2.
Anna Chosa.
Okay.
I'm just pulling them out there. Peter Boney.
Okay.
Timothy O'Leary.
Okay.
Robin Gishik.
Okay.
And the last one will be Robert Moyer.
Okay, thank you, Nikki. So that's how everybody will be listed on the ballot for Secretary Treasurer and District 2.
Can you explain why we're not doing a lottery draw for District 1, just for people to be aware?
Oh, we can't do a lottery draw for District 1. There's been a question of residency on Adrian Whiteman.
Okay, there you go.
And Adrian has until February 8th to prove her residency on Bois Fort. And then we have to have the deadline of notice of certifications to the Tribal Executive Committee by February 10th. So we gave her till February 8th to document residency. At that point in time, we can call a special meeting and have that documentation and make a determination at that time, and then certify her or non-certify her, and then we'll do the draw at that time. Okay?
Alrighty.
Okay, sounds good, guys. All right, so that ends our meeting. Everybody stay safe. Again, get those prayers out for our spiritual advisor, Mr. Gene Goodsky, and all those that are suffering any type of medical issues or whatever. It's really needed. Put that ASEMA out, and thank you all for watching, and everybody stay safe.
I'd just like to say thank you to all the candidates and wish them luck in their the election, and you know, it's up to the band membership to elect the people, and so I'd just like to wish everybody good luck, and we'll see you on the campaign trail.
Okay.
Yep, I too would like to wish all the candidates good luck, and stay safe out there, and it's up to the band members what they want. Neil, Rich.
I also like to say good luck to everybody. Enjoy your day, but be safe, please. Main thing is be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, council members. Good luck to all the candidates, and we look forward to this upcoming election. See what the band members want. Miigwech, Giga Wabaman, have a good day.
Luck and
Move to adjourn.
Oh, yeah. Do we have a motion? Gosh, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Moved by David. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Travis. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. I get busy with my little speeches and then I forget business. Sorry. Have a good day, everybody. Giga Wabaman.
You are then.
Yeah.